Apart from the blockbuster politics of the country, the rising temperature in recent days has also been the talk of the town. The summer heat this time has been so relentless that it has registered record-breaking temperature in a number of districts, especially in the southern plains. An unprecedented number of schools have also been closed to save our children from the scorching heat. With rain forecast from coming Sunday, hopefully we can welcome cooler rainy days with much respite. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of. In the 10 months of the ongoing fiscal year, the overall trade deficit decreases by 16%. Remittance inflow shoots up by 23% to cross 1 trillion mark. Home Minister Naren Kaji Shrestha urges agitating faction in Koshi province not to indulge in any activities that will only boost the confidence of anti-republican forces. Nepal elected as a member of the United Nations Economic and Social Council with a maximum 145 votes. Pakistan and Japan also elected from Asia-Pacific region. And UEFA Champions League trophy unveiled in Istanbul ahead of tomorrow's title clash between Manchester City and Inter Milan. All eyes on treble chasers City. Home Minister Naren Kaji Shrestha has urged agitating factions in Koshi province not to indulge in any activities that will disrupt social harmony and boost the anti-republic forces. Shrestha's remarks came in response to the statements made by UML lawmakers as they drew the government's attention towards alleged attacks on the vehicles of Koshi province deputy speaker and ministers by protesters. Minister Shrestha clarified that the political agenda should be dealt with political means by remaining within legal brackets. Home Minister Shrestha added that any individual who take law in their hands and try to disrupt social harmony will be punished by existing law. The Home Minister clarified that the law exists to safeguard all individuals' safety irrespective of who they are. The opposition lawmakers from CPNUML had drawn the government's attention as soon as the House session had begun today. The country's foreign trade and remittance in the past 10 months have shown slight improvement. Based on a report released by the Nepal Rashtra Bank, trade deficit has gone down by 15.9%. Exports reduced by 24.5% in the past 10 months and imports by 16.8%. Remittance collection, meanwhile, has gone up compared to the same 10 months period in the last fiscal year, where remittance had gone down by 0.5%. The country has received 23.4% more remittance, which totaled to 1,005,180 million rupees. Likewise, remittance in dollars have gone up by 13.4% and now stands at $7,700 million. Meanwhile, based on the data of the past 10 months, the annual consumer price inflation or CPI stands at 7.41%, which last year was 7.87%. A boost in tourism has raised the national revenue by 93% to reach 51,880 million rupees. Last year, during this same period, revenue stood at 26 billion rupees. The current account loss for the past 10 months stands at 54,670 million rupees, which was 545 million rupees last fiscal. Improvements in foreign trade along with increase in remittance and tourist arrival have raised currency reserves by 20.9% and now stands at 1,470,330 million rupees. Lumini province has unveiled its program and policies for the upcoming fiscal year by prioritizing agriculture, livestock and employment. Lumini Provincial Chief Amik Sherjan presented the 51-page-long program and policies at today's Provincial Assembly session. The program and policies unveiled today has specially prioritized agriculture, livestock and employment in a bid to what it says to change the face of the province. The program and policy states that 20 provincial-level highways under the Pride projects will be constructed. There are also provision for forest management program under conservation system, minimizing the confrontation between animals and humans, among others. In the academic front, there are programs to support needy schools for maintaining quality education and felicitating schools in the province that have set up exemplary works. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what should be done to make the Visit Decade campaign a success? Your options are A. Expand infrastructures, B. Identify new destinations, and C. More publicity. The voting is on. Type in EWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Let's move on to the international update. Nepal has been elected as a member of the United Nations Economic and Social Council in the elections held at UN headquarters in New York. The council consists of 54 members elected by the General Assembly for a term of 3 years from 5 different regional groups. As an elected member, Nepal will serve in the ECOSOC for a 3-year term beginning in January 2024. A statement issued by the Permanent Mission of Nepal to the United Nations following the election stated that apart from Nepal, 2 countries from the Asia-Pacific region, namely Pakistan and Japan, were among the 18 member states elected by a secret ballot. According to the statement, the ECOSOC, established by the UN Charter in 1945 as one of the 6 main organs of the UN, is the central platform for fostering debate and innovative thinking, forging consensus on ways forward, and coordinating efforts to achieve socio-economic progress, including sustainable development goals. Nepal's election is an acknowledgement of its constructive leadership and engagement in several UN processes and its abiding faith in the purposes and principles of the UN, read the statement. Following the election, Amrit Bahadur Rai, the permanent representative of Nepal to the UN, expressed gratitude to all the UN member states for their trust and confidence placed in Nepal. The Southeast Asian bloc ASEAN will hold its first ever joint military exercise in the South China Sea, the latest multilateral security drills, at a time of rising tension and uncertainty in the region. The decision was taken at a meeting of military commanders of 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN in Indonesia, which will host the exercise in the North Natuna Sea, the southernmost waters of the South China Sea. Indonesia's military chief, Admiral Yudo Margono, told state-run news agency Antara the exercise would be in September and would not include any combat operations training. The purpose, Margono said, was strengthening ASEAN's centrality. ASEAN's unity has for years been tested by a rivalry between the United States and China that is being played out in the South China Sea. ASEAN members Vietnam, the Philippines, Brunei and Malaysia have competing claims with Beijing, which asserts sovereignty over vast stretches of the ocean that include parts of Indonesia's exclusive economic zone. Indonesian military spokesperson Julius Widionyono said the exercise was related to the high-risk disaster in Asia, especially Southeast Asia. Chief Executive of ChatGPT maker OpenAI, Sam Altman, met with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol today in Seoul as the country seeks to encourage domestic competitiveness in artificial intelligence. After crisscrossing Europe last month, meeting lawmakers and national leaders to discuss the prospects of threats of AI, Altman has traveled to Israel, Jordan, Qatar, UAE, India and South Korea all this week. South Korea has new AI regulations awaiting full parliament approval. Those rules are seen as less restrictive than the EU's. In February, a parliament committee passed an AI law draft that guarantees freedom to release AI products and services and will only restrict them if regulators deem any product to be harming the lives, safety and rights of people. South Korea's Ministry of Science and ICT announced in April plans focused on fostering local AI development, such as measures to provide training data sets for sophisticated hyperscale AI, while continuing discussions on AI ethics and regulations. Having already clinched the Premier League and FA Cup, Manchester City are 1 game away from winning the Champions League and securing the treble. Only one English team has ever completed the feat before, cross-city rivals Manchester United in the 1998-99 season. Both the teams arrived in Istanbul yesterday ahead of the Champions League final. City's domination of the English soccer landscape is undisputed after another season of success, but on Saturday they can finally become kings of the continent. Guardiola delivered an 11th trophy in 7 years to owner Sheikh Mansour when City beat Manchester United to win the FA Cup last weekend, having claimed a 5th Premier League title in 6 seasons a couple of weeks earlier. Now, only Inter stand in the way of a treble that would match Manchester United's still unique feat of 1999. City's Abu Dhabi owners would finally get their hands on the European trophy that their massive financial investment in the club since 2008 was designed to achieve. City came close in 2021 when they misfired in the final against Chelsea in Porto, a defeat that still haunts Guardiola, who is looking to win the trophy for a third time, having taken Barcelona all the way in 2009 and 11. Meanwhile, Simone Inzaghi's Inter finished third in Serie A, a massive 18 points behind champions Napoli. But the underdog tag will be one they will be happy to wear, as they did in 2010 when Jose Mourinho's side ambushed Bayern with a superb counter-attacking display. Inter conceded only 3 goals over the course of 6 matches in this year's Champions League knockout stage, beating Porto, Benfica and AC Milan to reach the final. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.